So you need to know what to put in your Disney World park bag. $21 for a pair of pants in Epcot. Made some mistakes. People stopped me in the queue and were like, where did you get those? Mostly my husband will pick somebody's arm has fallen off and I really need something. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Christy. I am a mum of 4 and I have taken my children to Disney World, Disneyland Paris and Disney California from the age of 6 weeks up to 9 years so far. And I have taken some great things in my bag, but I have made some mistakes, things that I have forgotten. I've left myself having to pay $21 for a pair of pants in Epcot. I have got the ins and outs of everything that we take in our park bag. This is from our recent trip and everything that we took. It does vary slightly based on your children's ages, but I'm going to run through any alternatives that I would take as we go. So let's dive straight in. So we take 2 bags with us. My husband carries Matt, you'll have met him on the channel before. He carries our big park bag. It's just an old Pack-a-Pod rucksack that we take. Matt takes it to travel everywhere we go, and it's just got a big carabiner clip on the top so we can hook it to the buggy. These ones I got from Amazon. I'll try and link them below, but they're so helpful because they hook onto the buggy and it means he doesn't have to carry it, because sometimes these park bags are heavy, especially in a heat, and then when you're going on rides and things, because I don't keep valuables in them, I will leave it linked. I will leave it hooked on the buggy. He would take that. I will take my crossbody bag that has our valuables in it, things that I just wouldn't leave on the buggy in between rides. But I'll talk a little bit about what's in my bag in a minute. But let's start with what is in Matt's bag, in our main park bag. I would love a glamorous, nice park bag, but this is just so practical, guys. And that's another thing that I would say is that I watch some of these, what's in my park bag videos, and everything is beautiful and, I don't know, top range things. And actually this is really practical. I'm a mum of 4. We prioritize our money on travel rather than on other things. And sometimes the bags I use are old toiletry bags, but they house the important stuff. So don't worry too much if it's not the most aesthetic looking setup in your bag. Let's start with my little medical bag. So I take a small bag. It's reasonably sized. It's just a bit bigger than my hand. And it's just got some essentials that I wouldn't want to be caught without. We travel with a full-size first aid style kit in the suitcase. So Calpol, if you're in the US, these are like paracetamol for children. I use the sachets. I always carry the sachets. The reason I carry the sachets is because I don't need to measure. I don't have a sticky spoon. I just peel the corner off and squeeze it into my child's mouth. Are lightweight, you're not carrying a bottle, very helpful. I just tie it together with a hairband so I don't lose them. Attached to that also is some plasters, because you can get them in the Disney parks, but sometimes the first aid stations are the other end of the park, or your child's got the world's smallest graze on their knee and they're feeling sad about it, and a plaster just might help. So I've always got some plasters. There's a little anti-back wipe, and then there are some adult paracetamols and some antihistamines, just in case anybody's suffering with anything. But it's a really small amount that I keep in my bag. Not loads, you don't need loads. These wet ones, you can see it's really used. I'm going to put a new bag in for the next trip because this is from our previous trip, but I use these on their hands before they eat all the time, or if I'm wiping something on their face, or, I can use those for anything. Coming with that is hand gel, and you will see how much has been used. And I am a little bit worried about germs in Disney, so we use so many hand gels. I'm hand gelling them all the time, but you know what kids are like? They're touching everything, putting their hands in their mouth, licking the walls as they're in the queue, they're intrigued and they want to touch everything, especially toddlers. So yeah, lots of hand gel, because Disney is so clean and they look after it so well, but the thousands of people that are in the parks every day, they can't stop the germs. So that is a must. If you are a girl mum or just for you, I have 1 daughter, so I do have just a selection of hairbands in here as well. The other things, more hand gel, but this is a really good one because you can spray your hands or a surface, and it is just like a little aerosol can. People have said about not bringing aerosol cans in and going through security. This was in our medicine bag the entire time and we never got our bag searched. So I've had no problem with this, but I don't want to guarantee you wouldn't. A hairbrush going along with the hair thing, just a little hairbrush and a mirror I keep in there. An additional sun cream, a small one. And the reason I do this is how many times as a parent do you get the sun cream out of the bag because you need to use it and you put it down in your hotel room and you leave it there? Or if you are new here, my name is Christy and we make lots of Disney lifestyle and travel content. We are prioritizing trips to Walt Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland Paris. We've been to Disney Alani and you will find all of that on our channel below. But this is going to be a tips and tricks playlist and there are going to be lots of upcoming things that I find really helpful as traveling as a mum of 4 to Disney often. Mostly my husband will pick it out of the bag and then not put it back in the bag. And then you're in the park, it's 30 degrees, you need cream and there isn't any. So that's my backup one. I take a proper sun cream, which I'll show you in a minute, but this is the one that I keep in my medicine bag. It's really small, it fits. I actually have these because you never know when something is gonna break. You know, and if you've eaten too many Dole Whips and the button pops off your shorts, you'll be grateful of those. And then also this, and if you are somebody without a thigh gap, or even some of my children, they just, sometimes the way they walk, they end up with little rubbing thighs, and this is great. You can get this on Amazon. It's not really well known in the UK, but it's an American one. I tend to always buy it. Yeah, the Body Glide, it's great. So that is basically what my little first aid kit looks like, that just stays in my bag. Hopefully you don't have to use it. Hopefully it stays intact. We've used a few bits from it this trip. We've used a couple of Calpol sachets. We've used a few bits, but yeah, so that is the first bag that's in my bag. The next one I've got is, I always have with me a packet of wet wipes. This isn't usually in this case. I just popped it in there. And there are also some Dettol anti-bac wipes in there as well to wipe down surfaces and trays and things if you need them for food, especially like I said, small children, you don't want them to get sick. I don't care how old your children are, this will be the best thing that you take. I take 2 or 3 bags with me every time we go to Walt Disney World, and I always come home with maybe 1 if I'm lucky. The amount of ice cream messes and sticky fingers, and you're not always near a toilet and you just need to wipe them off. Somebody spilled something on themselves. These are, just take wet wipes. I know you think you're at that stage if your children are older than that. They're not, trust me. I'll be taking them when they're teenagers, I'm sure. So baby wipes, they're really handy. Also, they're quite cooling. Like if you feel like you've been really sweating, and like this was a spring bag, I'd have more summer things for our summer bag, but if you're really sweaty and you just need a bit of a refresh, sometimes it's really nice with a baby wipe just to wipe your face and the back of their neck, especially for the boys, because my boys get quite sweaty, so it's really nice just to be able to wipe them off. I'm not sure if I've actually said this, but I have got 3 boys if you're new to the channel. My children are 9, 8 because twin boys, and then my daughter Ellen, who is 6. So that is our children. And that's the kind of ages that I'm doing now. But like I said, I've done them from 6 months. So I talked a little bit about buying pants. I've actually still got this in here as a reminder of how much I've paid for pants in Epcot. Kids have accidents, and it doesn't even have to be a toilet accident. It can be a bottle of Coke accident, or a ice cream, or they're soaking wet, or they just need something. So I always take with me a packet of pants, some spare pants. And then inside here, I also have my wet dry bag. This is one that we get on the Disney cruise. I swear by these, but you can get any wet dry bag from Amazon. And it just, anything that is nasty or dirty or yucky, and I don't want it in the bag loose, I'll pop it in there. But until I use that, inside here is a very thin t-shirt and shorts. Because my children are really close in age and they could all kind of get away with wearing similar stuff, I tend to just put in there one basic white t-shirt and one like plain pair of blue shorts that even if my daughter ended up in a situation where she immediately needed some spare clothes, they would fit. The shorts are elastic. I can tie them up tight on her, but they're loose enough for my 9-year-old. And if she has to wear a baggy white t-shirt, that's fine, but it would fit him and fit the boys in the middle as well. So I always take that little bit of clothing in there. It folds so small. And then, like I said, spare pants, because guys, you never know. And you don't want to do what I do, which is running around Epcot trying to find pants because you forgot to put this back in your bag. And you're paying $21 for a pair of pants. And I don't want to pay $21 for a pair of pants. So that's that. And then we've got, this is like my entertainment pouch. This is a lifesaver. I can't explain to you how many times this is used throughout a trip, throughout a park day, like at dinner. It comes everywhere with me, and I'll show you what's inside. But basically, to entertain the children in certain situations, you're in a long queue. I'll whip something out of here. You're sat in a restaurant waiting for food and everybody's hot and tired and hungry. I whip something out of here. You are waiting at the airport far longer than you thought you would be, and you don't want to get everything out, and this is just accessible in your bag. I get it out. You're waiting for car hire. I had it out. Like, all those things, all those situations where you think you might not need it, and you'd be surprised how much we use this, to the point where I'll show you the colouring sheets that I took. We use so many of them that I actually need to get some more for our next trip. So first of all, I've got just one of these. I don't have 4 of everything. If I took 4 of everything, we'd take a giant bag. I take a variety of a few things and they can share them. Just a drawing pad. These are so handy in the queue. We play noughts and crosses on them in the queue. We play hangman on them in the queue. We will write silly messages or play guess the drawing or like Pictionary type, you know, like made up on the spot type of game. This is great. My kids just doodle on them if they're waiting for dinner. Like just taking one, they're so lightweight. Absolutely take one. We then have this. This is a magnetic giraffe board. It's so tiny. It weighs nothing. It's so light. And I'll just open up and show you. All of these are magnetic. So they stick together and then they stick magnetically on the board. Now, I tend not to get this out in something like a queue because they are easy to lose. I mean, they stick together. They're pretty solid, but I wouldn't want to lose them. So this is more of a, we're at the table at dinner. We were recently on the Disney cruise, and you'll see in some of the vlogs that we used this at dinner. It was quite a nice game for 2 or 3 of us to play each other. So that was quite fun. So we've got that. Also, these, I talked about them in the vlogs if you watch the vlogs, but these are, they're called stick bots. First of all, they suction to things. They're really well used this trip. They suction to things. They're bendy, they're wriggly, they're fidget toys. My kids played with them so much. People stopped me in the queue and were like, where did you get those? Because my kids would play like ninja games with them. They're sticking them to the walls. They are playing, fiddling with them. I've got quite sensory children and they love that. So people were asking me in the queue, like, where did you get them? I'll link them below, but I got them from AliExpress in like a big bag, so a big bulk. I think I got 10. There's a hair on that one, look. Ugh. I think I got 10. Also, you know those anti-bac wipes I was talking about quite regularly after they've had a day of these, I will just give them a little wipe because they have touched every side in Disney by the end of the day. But yeah, they're well used. You can see like he's even lost his suction cups and we need to get some new ones, but they were very well loved. Stickers, because you just can't go wrong with stickers. And also stickers aren't even just for my children. Sometimes we'll be in the waiting for the fireworks, waiting for the parade. We've been in the line for something, and we were actually at the airport this time, like a really long queue to go through immigration. And then when we got off the plane this time, and then to get our luggage, and the queue was really long, and there was 2 little girls, and they must have been like a baby. She was probably like 1, and then like a 3-year-old, and they were hysterically crying, and you could see mum had had enough. So me and Ellen whipped out the stickers, and we tore a big section off and went over and gave them to both the girls. And it didn't give them that long a piece, just a couple of minutes, But Mum was so grateful. It was a really nice thing to encourage Ellen to do. And also, we've all been there. I've been there. I've had 4 small children. I had 4 children under the age of 3. I absolutely know what it's like to be in that overwhelm of lots of children screaming and you're worried about people around you. So it's just a really nice way to help somebody as well. So we quite often give out the stickers. I kind of got some more boy and girl ones. Although I don't really like to say that because Theo absolutely loves some of the girl stickers. Colouring pencils and pens. This is an old pencil case that used to be the boys. Like I said, we're not always here for aesthetic. This is an old toiletry bag. It's actually got the cutest keyring on though that I put on it because the Oceania cast member on the cruise gave it to Mason. It's like Oceania pixie dust. And I just clipped it on. But this was an old Ratatouille wash bag that I used for this. And this here is an old Primark pencil case that the boys had. But it all fits lovely inside one bag. It's convenient, 100%. Don't worry about the aesthetic. Inside here, I have a selection of pencils and pens. Again, it's just a random mix. But I also make sure I have a pencil sharpener because, you know. And I like even the little cheap free pencils that you get from places, like I just pick, the little packs. I'll pick them up, chuck them in there. A little rubber. There's a couple of like more fancy pens. I've got a biro that we've got from a Marriott hotel once. It's really random, but it's just some pencils. And of course, to go with the pencils, colouring sheets. This was an old book that I had ripped, taking a big chunk of them out. This was double the size before we left. My kids used this so much, and I'm actually worried that for our upcoming trip, this isn't going to be enough. So I'm going to have to try and get some more small sheets. These were perfect size though, because they just fit in here. And they're small and you can get them out and they don't make a huge mess. If you've got 4 sets of colouring out on the table, 4 of these is way better than 4 large books. So yeah, also this t-shirt is really big for me and the mic is like pulling it down. It's not very flattering, but like I said, we're real life here. This is real life mums. Like I wear a baggy t-shirt at home. That's it. So that is like my entertainment pouch. And honestly, of all the pouches that I take, of all the things that are in my park bag, this is by far my most used and my most valued by everybody in my house. Sometimes we just love to go and sit inside Connections or sit inside Tomorrowland Terrace at Magic Kingdom or just sit somewhere calm and quiet and just take a breather. And if you don't want to take a full midday break, as we normally do, sometimes we'll just be like, okay, let's go and have an hour. Let's go and sit down in an air-conditioned place. Let's order ourselves just a drink or a snack to share. Like this isn't lunchtime. This is just an afternoon where it's quiet in there. Sit down, relax, let everybody do something calming, relax their nervous system. It's overstimulating sometimes to be in the parks all the time for some children. And yeah, and even adults, sometimes I just need 5 minutes peace. And this pouch is guaranteed to stop any squabbling in the queue. The only squabble you might have is who's having what thing. And not many of you are going to have 4 children like me, so you probably don't have to worry about that because taking 2 of everything will be way easier than taking 4 of everything, which I definitely don't do. Okay, so what is next? Next is my meal time pouch. This one is really small, but I won't go anywhere without this pouch. So in here is, if I can get it open, I have a couple of things. Hand gel, because more hand gel, and every time that we eat, everybody is sanitizing their hands. If they don't want the hand gel, there's another packet of wet ones because it's needed. I have some Smints because a lot of Disney coffee and a lot of those foods, sometimes you just need something to freshen you up afterwards. I also have this. This is, I actually won't use this. I purely carry this. There will have to be an emergency for me to use it, but I've kept it all the way from Alani. It's an Alani wet wipe. I know that's ridiculous. It has to go in there because it reminds me that we went to Alani. I will not use this unless somebody's arm has fallen off and I really need something. I mean, that's dramatic, but I don't want to use it. But I also don't want it to live in a cupboard somewhere. So being in here just makes me happy. And judge all you like, but it makes me happy. I also carry a big selection of reusable bags. I fold them up. They take up no room inside, but these are like large sandwich, medium-sized sandwich bags. Kids don't finish snacks. Kids tell you, I want that huge Mickey cinnamon roll, and you say to them, let's share one, you're not going to eat all of that. And they say, no mum, I really want that, I'm going to eat it all. 2 mouths later, what do they say? I'm full, I don't want any more. So these are amazing because I know you can get reusable snack bags, I know that, but the logistic of 4 children potentially not all eating their snacks, them getting different types of food mixing together, that's not practical. Cleaning them out every day on holiday, I just don't want to do that. And I know that that's probably, you could be more environmentally friendly and you could purchase one of these reusable ones. Me, I'm happy with my Tesco's, Costco, whatever they are, sandwich bags. The other thing I've used them for is ice. So my husband was really hot and had was really itchy on his arm when we were away. I don't know if he was bitten by something. So I took one of these, filled it with ice. It was something for him to hold on his arm and cool his arm down. It was used for that. It's been used, not this time, but it has been used before as an emergency sick bag because you never know when somebody's going to be ill. They have been used to store all sorts of things. I keep them in my snack pack bag because it's mostly used for food. And there are a lot of times in Disney that the food is very big and the quantity is really big and you might want to save your snack for later. So I keep those in there. And then finally, this is a new purchase and they're probably a bit of a gimmick, but they make my heart happy, so I'm going with them. This is a coffee sleeve. This one is from the Magical Bubble Club. She is a new UK online sort of coffee sleeve for Disney, like maker. I'll link her Instagram below. However, there are so many of these on Etsy and across the Instagram platform. There are lots of American brands that do them. So, you can get them wherever you are. But putting my Starbucks in that, my iced Starbucks, because my coffee is always iced when I'm in Disney. Walking down Main Street with this and my iced Starbucks caramel latte is makes me happy. And it folds really flat and it just sits inside my little pouch, which again, it's small, it doesn't take up much room, but it's got everything you could possibly need for eating. This looks quite big. It's not big, it fits in the bag, fine. What else do I have? So I have these. So this here is a pouch, again, non-aesthetic. This was a sunglasses case from one of the boys once. In here are pins. These pins are tradable pins. Currently, these are the pins that we traded for, and I'll show you them in a minute. But I take this with me at the beginning of the trip. Rather than take lanyards full of pins, this is what we take. I take a couple of pins with me. Usually I think I take 5 traders for each child. So 20 pins go in here before we go. Ones that they've agreed they want to trade or old ones that I've had that I want to trade. If I haven't got any traders, I tend to purchase some before I go. You can get them on the Disney store, like on sale, but also you can usually get some good trustworthy sellers on eBay of like legit pins, and you can just buy like a bundle of random pins because you're going to trade them anyway and they cost a fraction of the pins if you were buying them individually and new. And then this is just attached to Matt's bag. I have a little carabiner on it. It's attached to the inside of the bag, so it's really accessible, and whenever we're anywhere and they see a pin they want to trade for, they can, and they've got 5 pins to trade throughout the trip. And I have tried taking their lanyards of pins. I've tried taking individual boxes with their pins in. I've tried pin pouches individually with them. It's hard work with lots of children. It's another thing that you've got to manage. This way, it gives them all the excitement of still being able to pin trade. They're not losing their best ones. You haven't got to keep an eye on it. You're not managing multiple sets of pins. You are just letting them trade what they want to trade. And then once the trade was done and it was a trade that they wanted, I actually popped it in one of these bags so that I knew that it was one that somebody else couldn't then trade. And then at the end of the trip, I put all of the ones to come home in here. So for instance, my son Theo is Lion King obsessed, and all he's ever doing is hunting for Lion King pins. We were in Saratoga Springs and we saw this pin and he was like, I need to trade a pin. So it was really easy for him just to whip it out the bag, pick anyone to trade. He traded for it and he got the pin he wanted. And you can see like in here are all the pins that they have traded for, and they got some really cute ones. Some of their decisions were questionable, but this is about the kids and not about me. So I'm not going to say that I wouldn't have wasted a trade. Let me find one that I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't have wasted a trade on this. I mean, I like Figment, but it's not a great pin. But the whole point is them learning and them enjoying it. Another Lion King. I think Theo managed to get 5 of 5 for Lion King. Another Lion King here, because he just hunted every pinboard we saw until he saw something Lion King, because his pinboard at home is very focused on Lion King. Also in here, this here is a Walt Disney World card. You get them when you check in. Whenever they give us one, we have magic bands, but we tend to always grab 1 or 2 room keys just because you never know when your band's going to run out of battery. And I tend to just keep it in there. And then also, if you end up going on the Disney cruise, like we did, this then works as your key for your lights to keep your light on in your room. So that's all that's in here. It's just pins, but it's small and it's manageable if you've got multiple children. And that really works for us. If you've got 1 or 2 children, you might want to take all their pins and all their lanyards and their sets. We just have a lot to carry, and that's just what works best for us. Also, I do have these. We brought these for the first time this time, so we don't normally carry these with us, but I feel like on our next trip we'll be carrying them. I've kind of put it off doing it for years, but the kids are around age, they're at the perfect age for it, which is the Epcot passports. So they were a little bit pricey, but we're just doing it once, and you get the packet. I'll show you what you get in it. You get the Epcot passport, which is really cool, and you get all the stickers, and then you have to go to each location around the world, pop in the stickers, and then you get a stamp. Where's the stamp? You get a stamp to say when you were there, which is really cool. And they write, like, they were there on the 9th of April, 2026. And that just shows that they did the American Pavilion then. We knew that we would be coming back, and this was an investment over time. So we only went to, I think, 4 of the 12 countries. So actually it's given us lots of space to do the others. So we haven't done Canada yet. As you can see, the stickers are there. So we'll do that. And yeah, it's just a really nice thing for them to do, to collect them. So they all have got one of those each in the bag now, which we will carry with us. What else do I have with me? In the bag we have sunglasses. These are the boys' sunglasses. I always have sunglasses for all the children because they always say they don't want them, and then they do. I have a spare pair of socks at the bottom, just in case. You never know. Actually, do you know where that should go? Let's be practical about this. That should go in there, shouldn't it? See, even after all these trips, I'm still tweaking what we put in every time. And actually, when I do my packing for the summer, there'll probably be some adjustments made then, so there'll be another video for that. But this is like I said, post spring trip. The other things I have in my bag are, I think I popped them on the table. Hang on. Oh yeah. Okay, so the few other things that I have in my bag is the actual sun cream. Honestly, get yourself a spray mist. If you have children who don't love to be covered in cream, they don't enjoy having sun cream put on process in the middle of the day, these dry mists are great. I tend to buy the Banana Boat Sport ones when I'm over there in Walmart or Target, but I always take one of these with me as well. They are a dry mist. So when you spray them, it's a dry mist. You don't have to rub it in. It's done. It's done. Obviously, you use more of them. They smell really nice. It's totally dry. Like, there is no dampness, no tacky, no nothing. So if you've got sensory children, that's great. Also, if you feel like you need a quick, I'm stood in the queue or I'm about to get in the queue, just stand to one side a minute, let me spray you. I know you've had another coat. And also, do you know how long it takes to sun cream 6 people when you're rubbing it in? Like, this is a lifesaver. And then I have like a little tech bag. This is probably more for somebody who's filming in the parks because I need extra things. So I won't go too into detail with this, but if you open it up, hang on. If I open it up, I've got a power bank. Everybody needs a power bank. You are using your phone for the map. You're using it for take photos, you're videoing, you're connecting to the Wi-Fi, the heat drains your battery. You need a power cable. I take 2, sometimes 3. No, 2. I tend to take 2. I have 3, I keep one in the room that's always charged so that if I forget to charge one, I've got one on rotation. But yeah, I always take 2 of these in a case. I've got some charging straps, some spare memory cards. Again, that is really typical for filming, but you might not be filming, but as a parent, you might be taking pictures on a nice camera and you might need that. So I also tend to have a little bit of cash just tucked in one as well, just as an emergency, because you never know. So that is what I pack in my park bag, in Matt's park bag. On me, I have our essentials of a lip balm. I tend to have some hand cream. Sometimes all that anti-bac makes me a bit dry. I have my phone. Matt's phone tends to go in there when we go on the rides. Sunglasses, my camera, just your usual mum stuff. But everything else I showed you goes in Matt's park bag. And then on the outside, we also have our water bottles clipped on the side and our hats. Those are basic things that you know you have to take to Disney. You know you need your water bottle. You know you need hats. You know you need ice, like packets or like coolers if you're taking food. You know all of that stuff, but this was kind of just to show you what the little things that you might forget that make a really big difference on your trip. So that concludes most of what we took in our park bag on a park day. I hope it was useful. Please let me know in the comments below what surprised you the most or what you think, oh, actually, yeah, I might take that this time. Or if you have something that you think I've missed, because like I said, I'm always tweaking my park bag. So you might say to me, Christy, I've seen this. You absolutely need it. And send it to me because I would love to hear your opinion and I love to watch what other people take in their park bag. Thank you so much for watching and please make sure you hit that follow, like and subscribe because there is a lot more content coming your way. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.